Steve here. Okay, so I was working with a really cool client and with a relationship issue. And long story short, there was a curse. The person muscle tested that another person involved in the environment put a curse on this person and for particular purposes. Okay, now the details aren't important. Do curses really exist? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Depends on your perspective, depends on your experience, what plane of existence you're operating from, what mindset you're operating from. It really doesn't matter whether or not you consciously believe curses exist or whether they do exist or not. What's important is that, I mean, let's say you're an attorney or a doctor or someone who's really deeply in the traditional Western way of thinking that doesn't believe in these superstitions, let's say. And that's just a bunch of bollocks, curses and magic and stuff. That's fine, nothing wrong with that. At the same time, I guarantee you have ancestors that believe in curses, and that those ancestors can, without you realizing it, influence you and your thinking process on a subconscious level and cause you to have an experience of accepting something that you might call a curse or they might have called a curse, whether it's a curse or not. And you could be influenced, and it's all kind of can be discovered through the muscle testing, of course, as we know. So there's a couple more little pieces to this that I wanted to talk about for a second. Number one, how do you deal with it? One of the things that Vianna Steibel, for you theta healing people, she's talked about is that one of the reasons why we accept consciously or unconsciously accept something that we might call a curse on us and the effects of a curse is because we or someone in our genetic line felt guilt about something. And that guilt, that sense of having done something wrong, on some level, opens the door for this kind of an energetic influence or a thought form for us to allow that thought form to influence us and accept the consequences of the so-called curse. So first, clean the guilt. Find out the guilt and then clean it and reorganize the person's perspectives and understandings to the point where they can let go of the guilt for themselves or let it go for their ancestors. And then at that point, usually the so-called curse will have the possibility of being released a lot of the time. But here's the other part. It's not so much about cleaning and clearing the curses. What's the bigger purpose for not just curses, but all of this kind of weird work that we do, whether it's physical healings or energetic cleanings or whatever you want to call it? It's just a misunderstanding that we believe we're not connected with Source. We're not a part of the all that is, of God, if you want to call it, or pure consciousness or pure love. It's a misperception. And so all of these kind of cool things, ultimately, yes, when you clean this kind of stuff like curses and like doing healings and whatever, it gives the person the individual levels of personal relief, of positive changes in their lives, which of course is wonderful and important. But in the long run, it takes away another little piece of the lie that we're not connected with Source, that these problems we experience in our life are more real than they have to be. And as we release these little things, whether it's a curse or a physical illness or an emotional trauma, piece by piece by piece, we let go of another little illusion that we're not okay, because it's all part of the story. And as we let go of more of these things, we kind of raise our consciousness a little bit, and these kinds of things affect us less and less over time. So just food for thought. But it was a really cool session with a really cool client, and we found a really interesting anything to let go of, and instantly there was a new layer of peace and access to the silence within. See you later. Bye.